Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I'm going to be reviewing Squire for Hire, a microgame designed by John Merchant. Squire for Hire is a cute little microgame that comes in this tuck box. So basically the box opens up, all the rules are on the inside of the box, and here are all your cards just waiting for you. Setup is super simple. You basically just choose one of the Squire cards that's available. Let's say that we're just Gust, that'll be fine. And one thing you'll notice is that each Squire has a bonus to certain item counts, something special that they can do with junk that comes into their pack, and then bonus score opportunities for different types of items in your bag that are going to be next to each other. So Gust basically gets credit for having an extra weapon, but we have some apprentices that prioritize magical items, one who likes treasure, and one who likes armor. So every game that you play can be a little bit different because they're also each going to have different special powers and different scoring bonuses. So you take your Squire, put the other Squires aside, shuffle the rest of your cards together, and you basically deal yourself 2. So you decide which of these you might like. So I know that I at least get some sort of bonus for putting this next to another item. So I'd probably keep this card as the beginning of my bag. Then I would shuffle this card back into the deck, and we are ready to play. So basically to play, all you do is you set the deck in front of you, and you put a card on either side. So until you run out of cards, there will always be a story event at the top of the deck. It could be an encounter, a quest, a dungeon, and for each turn that you take, you can look at it, decide if you want to do it, and then if you do, you either meet the requirement or pay the requirement that's on the card. And once you've done so, you can take one of the cards to either side. If you don't want to do the encounter, for example, then you just turn it over, cover whichever of the cards that you like, and continue. So let's say that I do choose to do this encounter. The price is 1 potion. I have 1 potion in my bag, and what this is going to mean is that I'm going to need to take one of these cards and position it in a way that covers this potion. You pay things in your bag by covering them. So let's say that I like this dagger anyhow, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this card, and I'm going to pay for it by covering my potion. So I paid for this potion by covering a potion, but I also got one back from the card. So net gain, I would say. So then, once you've done the encounter, you place it to the side where you just removed the card. If you choose to pass on an encounter, then you are allowed to just take the card off the top of the deck and put it on either side you want, covering up the card that you want the least, or if you're playing a 2-player game, the one that you want your opponent to lose. On this quest, I have 2 ways of getting through. I can either pay 1 valuable by covering 1 on my bag, but I don't have any valuables over here. Or I am able to meet a certain threshold for the amount of weapons I have in my bag, which is 2. So Gust actually has a +1, and I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, because this is the number of squares that my weaponry is covering in the bag. So it would be very easy to do this quest. As a reward for the quest, I could grab the bow. And then to place things in your bag, I know that I get points for this. You have to be able to completely fit 1 item in your bag. And that's the key. So I don't really care about these magical items, so I would just cover up all that and stick my bow in the bag, thus starting a pretty killer combo for later. This comes off the top, and you just continue this way until you have a big full bag and you've gone through the whole deck. In a 2-player game, you might shuffle encounter cards or story cards that you didn't play the first time through, but in a solo game you do not. You just do the best you can on 1 trip through the deck and try to score 25 points. And that is a game of Squire for Hire. It's very simple, it's very quick, it's exactly what you would expect from a microgame. So let's get down to some final thoughts. Overall, Squire for Hire is a charming, simple game that fulfills my needs for it as a microgame. I'll start off by saying that the art definitely doesn't hurt. The adorable little creatures who are the Squires you can play are so charming, and it really adds, I think, to the game's likability. And overall, the game provides a nice spatial puzzle. It's got enough choice to where it's still interesting even within a short time frame. I enjoy trying to choose which items I want to prioritize, how I want to place things, and whether I want to go for some bonus points or get rid of some junk out of my bag. There's definitely enough here to make for a nice short game. I will also say I like that the game does not wear out its welcome. It is punchy and short, which is just how I like these kinds of games. In terms of its footprint, Squire for Hire is also on point as a micro game. Not only is the box itself very small, able to fit in a shirt pocket or in the back pocket of your jeans, but the space that it takes up on the table is also modest. Your bag can get a little bit spread out, but I would feel comfortable attempting to play this on an airplane table or on an end table while watching TV at night. And for me, that's a key aspect of production for a micro game. That said, Squire for Hire is not a perfect game. I'd say my biggest complaint about it is the rule set. What started out as a great idea for how to print the rules in a small enough space actually ends up cutting a little bit too much. So the rules for Squire for Hire are actually printed not on a separate card, not on a piece of paper, but on the inside of the folding box where the game is kept. I mean, in one sense, this is brilliant, except that there are just a few too many ambiguities in the rules because of the extremely tiny space in which they were printed. I actually had to go look up a video to feel sure that I understood how to play the game, and I really shouldn't have to do that for a game that's this simple. I was especially disappointed that there weren't enough references to how solo play would work. So in a two-player game, there are cards that both heroes could get a shot at, and there are cards that are only for you on your turn. And there's no way of accounting for this in solo play in the rules. So I just play as if there isn't a second player, but there's nothing that explicitly told me to do that, and that's something that makes me feel a little bit uneasy. There is a target score for solo play, which does help, but I would have liked just a little bit more guidance as to the designer's vision for how to play by yourself as opposed to with two people. It can also be irritating if you draw a bunch of unlucky cards in a row that you have to pass on. I mean, part of the game is strategy and preparation, but it's also possible to just have some bad draws and have turns that you feel are dead. It's also just true that Squire for Hire is in a pretty crowded field. There are a lot of really good micro games out there, and it's good, but it's not my favorite. My top tier micro game is still Sprawlopolis, and I can't really imagine anybody unseating that one for me anytime soon. That said, Squire for Hire is a charming, sweet micro game. It does not outstay its welcome. It has a very low price point. And if you're looking for a game that's short, portable, and a little puzzly but nothing too crazy, then Squire for Hire may be worth looking at for you. I give it a 7 out of 10 and a Dice Tower seal of approval. Happy gaming!